Hey everyone, how's it going? Welcome back to another Walking Dead video. So in this video here, I want to focus on the Rick and Michonne show, but I want to focus on Michonne's storyline, and I actually want to focus on how she finds Rick and how it's possible and just the details surrounding some of that. So before we go any further, obviously make sure to be a subscriber if you do want to get all my Walking Dead content like this. It's April 14th now, so Fear the Walking Dead is coming out in exactly a month today. So yeah, I'm very hyped for that show. I can't wait to start this. Like these last 12 episodes of this show I think are going to be really fantastic. At least when I compare it to season 7, I should say that. Like I know I'm assuming it's just going to be so good, but like I'm assuming that based off of the trailer, because it is the last season and some of the stuff that we saw, like it just looks like it's going to be better than season 7, and I'm more hyped for what the story is going to be here anyways. Like it actually is exciting compared to season 7. I mean, the thing about season 7 going into the season, we didn't really know what the story was going to be. Like from the trailers, it was just, a nuke went off and now they're trying to survive and what happens next. Like we didn't know where the story was going really at all. We wanted to see if Morgan was going to be able to survive and stuff. And some of that stuff was cool earlier on, but obviously the story overall went nowhere. And yeah, season 8 looks like it's going to be good. So I'm hyped for that. So if you want to get all my content like that, definitely make sure to be a subscriber. If you haven't followed me on Twitch yet, definitely go do so. I have been streaming a lot more on there. My Twitch channel is just Appetite for the Dead. The link should be in the description, but let's actually get into this here. So how could Michonne find Rick? Obviously that's a big question that we have, right? Like they are going to be reunited. That's definitely going to be happening. I mean, I've already been seeing articles posted online talking about some stuff in terms of, filming the show. And it's going to be something that obviously happens. Rick is going to reunite with Michonne. The question is how, right? And Michonne, I will say, based off of where she's at right now, I don't think it's going to be hard to find the CRM. It's just, it might be hard to find Rick. Or I guess that's the question I have for you guys, right? Like, should it be difficult for her to find Rick? Like, the reason why I'm asking this is because of, some of the spoilers that are out there and stuff for the Rick and Michonne show, which I won't get into here really, but it is a legit question, when it comes to Michonne finding Rick. Like, if she finds him, say in episode 2 or in episode 3 or in episode 4, is that too fast, right? Like, should the journey for her to find him be something that takes all season? Like it's like this really tough challenge and it's just, there's so many obstacles on the way. And then when they finally reunite, it's so epic and it's so amazing. I personally believe that it should be like that. I do want it like that just because, story-wise, doing something like that, it makes it way more intense. And you can kind of, I don't know, you just play with that idea a little bit. Like I think writing wise, there's so much you're able to do there. And not even that, I think you can take the time to focus on those two characters separately. And then when you reunite them, just do something else because there'll be a different dynamic there with the characters, right? But for the meantime, for the season, just focus on Rick's story at the CRM and then Michonne's story outside of the CRM. And then eventually, once she gets to the CRM, focus on some of that. Well, obviously, none of that's really happening. It looks like they are going to reunite at some point halfway through the season or something like that. And so, I guess that's the question I have for you guys is that too soon, right? Because that basically means that in episode 1, she's going to what? Like she's going to be with her new group or something like that, looking around for clues. Maybe we're going to see what her life is like, how things have been for her and whatnot. And then episode 2, I guess she finds bigger clues to where he's at or something like that. And then she arrives to the CRM. And then episode 3, she's there and she finds him that quick. Right? Like that to me seems very, very fast. I think that is way too fast. I think you're really rushing it. And that is a little bit of my concern here with this show is that they might rush that part of it. Because, yeah, I want them to reunite. Obviously, I want them together. But I want them to savor this. I really want them to build this up. Right? Because they haven't really built anything up right now. Like Michonne left the show. And yes, we got those scenes there in the finale. But we need a lot more, right? Like we do need there to be this momentum that's built up to this moment. And I think something that would be perfect is like, say the season was 16 episodes, right? Spend the first half really building that up. So episode 1, you just get into some stuff there or whatever. But basically by episode 8, is when they reunite, and then the last 8 episodes focus on some other plot sort of thing with those two characters together. To me, I like that, but obviously they're not doing 16 episodes, they're doing 6, and we don't know if they're going to be doing a season 2, right? Like, it seems like that might be the plan. Like, they might do that if there's this really huge like want for this, then I think they probably will do that. But for now, we don't know if that's going to be something that happens. We're just gonna have to wait and see based off of the ratings and the numbers and stuff like that, because who knows, like, this show could come out and the show could be worse than The Walking Dead final season, right? In terms of ratings, like, I don't think they really know. And I think for AMC and for everyone behind The Walking Dead and just all their shows and stuff, I think they want to see what the ratings are going to be like now that The Walking Dead is over. Because I think they really just like really believed that that show was, I mean, is the main show that sort of is keeping everything together. But I do think it is more the characters. It's not necessarily the show. It is the characters, right? Like, yeah, it has the name The Walking Dead, but I just think that if you have the characters a part of any show, I think the numbers will jump up. I think they'll be fine. So I'm not too worried about that, but obviously they have to see what the ratings are going to be here. And then we'll see if there's going to be a season 2. But back to my original point, you know, with Michonne finding Rick, I really want it to happen where maybe she finds him in episode 4, right? Like, just push it off a little bit more. I think finding him in episode 3 is a little too soon. Episode 4, I think, works the best. Maybe there's a reunion at the end of episode 3. I could live with that. That's fine. But episode 4, I can be happy with that. Maybe even episode 5. Like, the more you can push it, the better. Especially if you're doing a season 2. And that's the thing. If you're not doing a season 2, then maybe I want a little bit more of that, you know. But it all depends. Like for me, you just have to serve the story. Like, you got to do the story properly. And it just depends on, it just really depends on that. Like, how does she find out, right? You got to remember where she's at. And I guess that's the question I have just in general, I guess, about Michonne is, what does she know in the finale for The Walking Dead? She's been out there looking around for quite a while now, right? But we don't know what she knows. We just see her there in the finale. She has like armor on and she has this horse and stuff, but we don't know what she knows. She's with a new group. There's a lot more there, right? There's a lot more stuff that we got to learn. She could know where the CRM are already located. She could know a lot of that information. The thing is, though, is, you know, as a fan, I do kind of want to see a little bit of that. I don't want it to be, you know, episode 1 begins and here's Michonne. She's with this new group. It's so awesome. It's so cool. And this is everything she knows already. Like, she learned a bunch of information off screen. I hate when shows do that. I really do, just because it's, I don't know, the characters become less relatable. And I think you want to relate more with the characters. So I hope that she doesn't know, you know, a lot and she learns a lot more in episode 1 and 2 about the CRM, but we'll have to wait and see. That's just like, that's just a question I have about Michonne. Like, how much does she know about where Rick is and whatnot in the finale? Because, I mean, that could definitely really, you know, tell us a lot. And, you know, in terms of like how hard it should be for her to find him, it doesn't have to be that difficult. Because, I mean, if you think about it, technically just finding out that the CRM are out there, that's not that hard. Like, if you find a group, like Michonne found this big group, right? Like, if you're just running into a group like that, you're meeting their leader, you start talking to people, you get to know things and whatnot, you're going to learn of info that they have, and they might be aware of the CRM. They might know, right? So just like that, it's not going to be that hard. It's just really as simple as, well, she knows of the CRM because she's been talking with these people and all that. But knowing specifically where Rick is, right, that's the hard part, because how does she connect the CRM to Rick? She could learn of the CRM, cool, but to connect that, you know, to connect them to Rick is totally different. So there's got to be some clues here in terms of, you know, what's happening with the story for her to find him. And I wonder if that green bottle is going to be what it is, right? Because story-wise, they worked out what's happening here with the show a long time ago. They filmed Rick and Michonne scenes for the final episode last August, which means they wrote some of that stuff last summer or whatever. That green bottle was just something that it just seemed like it was going to matter more. Like, it really did seem like it was going to matter more. And I wouldn't be surprised if, you know, in episode, probably not episode 1, but maybe episode 2, that green bottle shows up somewhere and then Michonne finds it. And that's her confirmation right there as to where Rick is. Because she needs to learn certain details about his location, and it just seems like it would be really impossible for her to know that he is specifically right there, right? Like, I think you could do something where you're able to connect it to Jadis and some of the stuff there with the helicopters and stuff. Like maybe Michonne's out there looking for him, but it's just so hard. Like she can't find him at all. Jadis, maybe she's out there on one of her like trips. She's sort of going around with the CRM, and then she sees Michonne, and maybe Michonne sees Jadis, and they talk, or something happens with them, and then the topic of Rick comes up, and then that's where maybe Michonne realizes you did something, or you know what I mean? There's a way something like that could play out potentially. Maybe that is what happens, but there's just something about that green bottle that it just kind of feels like it's going to be so obvious, like that is going to be what it is. Like it's going to be the green bottle that, there's going to be a bunch of information there. Rick's going to have written everything down there for Michonne to know that he is here, he is in that place. And I think it just makes a lot of sense because you want to be able to get her to there. She needs to learn certain information about all of that. And I think that's the way to get her to learn all of that is Rick just literally writes everything down on paper and then she learns it that way. I also think that is lazy because that is something that is just, it's so fast. It's so quick. It's such an easy thing to do, but it does get the job done. Like it's something that will give Michonne the right information to be able to explain a lot of that stuff away so that she's able to get to the CRM that easily, right? So we'll have to wait and see, but I did want to explore this in this video because that's something that, obviously there's going to be a point when we're watching this show when it's just, well, they're reunited now, they're together. There's no more wondering of like, how is she going to find him? And just seeing that first moment when they're together, they're just going to be together, right? So we'll have to wait and see how all this plays out. I do wonder how much the CRM is going to play a role in the story, if it's going to be a lot or if it's really just going to focus a lot on them. I know the synopsis said that it's going to focus mostly on Rick and Michonne, but the CRM, that story does have to play a bigger role. And once you reunite those two characters and you have additional episodes, that stuff there is where you can focus a lot on the CRM and some of the overall, I guess, bigger elements, right, of that story. So yeah, we'll have to wait and see, but definitely post your thoughts down below. How do you think Michonne's going to find Rick? Should it be really difficult for her to find him, or are you okay with if it just gets explained away in like a message in the bottle kind of thing, right? Definitely post your thoughts down below. Hope you all enjoyed the video, and I'll see you guys in the next one.